In terms of institutions, the Vatican is the most powerful institution on earth. And indeed, there are so many networks interconnecting with the Vatican. Indeed, all of the Western secret societies and initiatic orders link back up to the Vatican. But the question is, who controls the Vatican? This is the thing. I believe that these days, British Royal Arch Freemasons and Nazi German Templars run the Vatican, operating through conduits within the entity. Indeed, the entity is chiefly staffed at the moment by Turkish military intelligence operatives who have recently, in the last 30 years, taken over the entity. And indeed, these Turkish military intelligence operatives are initiates of Bektashi Tekis and Sabbatean Donme lodges. So it's interesting to consider, indeed, these networks infiltrated and took over the entity for the British Royal Arch Freemasons. So it's interesting to consider, indeed, the Vatican is now coordinated by British Royal Arch Freemasons. Therefore, the network, in inverted commas, i.e. the intelligence branch of British Freemasonry, now controls the Vatican, in alignment with various Nazi continuum intelligence operations. Indeed, it's interesting the convergence between British Freemasons and Nazi intelligence networks. So it's interesting to consider that there was a phony conflict during the Second World War between the Hitler regime and the Masonic lodges. It didn't happen. That's the thing. We're told different things about history than what actually happened. Indeed, it's interesting to consider my current situation at the moment, what with the network, in inverted commas, and basically the entire scale of British Freemasonry attempting to harass me, persecute me, radiate me, put voices in my head, and shut me down. It's interesting to consider that the staff in the mental health supported accommodation I'm living in are spying on me for the police. Indeed, this is altogether very irritating. And indeed, there's a house just around the corner, which I believe is in MI6 setup, or MI5, I'm not sure. Indeed, it could be the foreign intelligence services, or it could be the security services. More likely to be the security services. Therefore, a house around the corner has been taken over by MI5. And there are always different residents there that are spying on me in coordination with the local police department, who are all dirty. Indeed, it seems that the majority of Wiltshire cops are dirty. Indeed, a mad friend of mine, Michael, theorized that 30% of the British police are not dirty at most. However, it seems that the majority of policemen in Wiltshire are dirty and operating schemes with Faith of Ishmael cartels and Nazi intelligence network continuums. So it's interesting to consider exactly what is going on here. Indeed, I am aligned with an anti-Vatican Russian network of Russian ninjas who have no connection to Putin or Putin's boys. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, this Russian network is predominantly women. So it's all very interesting indeed. I received some information recently. I actually had two girlfriends at Grenville Lodge number 1787 who were murdered by the Freemasons. Catty, the brunette, and Mishki, the blonde. Indeed, both of these girlfriends were murdered at Grenville Lodge number 1787 on the orders of Master Mason Charles Stansted. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, while we were operating as ninjas at Grenville Lodge, I got a look at the archives of Charles Stansted. However, due to an operation that took out a chunk of my brain and enforced amnesia, I am unable to recount all the details of that archive. So it's all very irritating to consider indeed how all of this relates to the operations of Devizes Police is that Devizes Police are operating a satanic ritual sacrifice network within the vaults of the Wiltshire Police Headquarters, coordinated by Philip Wilkinson, the Wiltshire Police Commissioner for Crime. So it's interesting to consider, indeed, the entire Wiltshire Police Force seems to be dirty and engaged in satanic ritual abuse and sacrifice. So it's all very interesting to consider, indeed. This is also true of Calne Police, what with PC Stuart Welsh of Calne Police running a torture porn ring of children in the local area. So it's all very interesting to consider what exactly the Wiltshire Police are up to, and indeed they are interconnected with Faith of Ishmael cartels of Kurdish, Moroccan, Algerian, and Pakistani heritage, who are running some really creepy networks around the county, all in coordination with the operations of Wiltshire Police. So it's all very interesting to consider, indeed. It's interesting to think that the Vatican licenses these rings through the Crown. Indeed, it's very interesting to consider who is more powerful, the Crown or the Vatican. That's the key thing. What with Royal Arch Freemasons running the Vatican, it would seem that the Crown now has the upper hand regarding the Vatican, but it's best to look at these networks as one entity and the interconnecting Nazi continuum intelligence services. All of these are one entity, indeed. MI5 are attempting to implement some sort of torture program on me, utilizing networks of police gang stalkers. So it's interesting to consider exactly what is going to go down, especially I'm predicting in the next few weeks to be the target of public harassment by gang stalkers operating via police continuums for the security services. So very interesting to consider. Indeed, British intelligence is a large occult pederasty circuit. That's all it is. It's a criminal cartel. So they give you excuses like defense of the realm, but that really means protecting the pederasty networks of the Crown and the Vatican. So it's all very interesting to consider, indeed. It's very interesting to consider that the Royal Arch Freemasons now have control of the Vatican. It took several hundred years to basically infiltrate and penetrate the old Roman Empire secret police networks that are the Vatican constructs. And indeed, to help with this, the Royal Arch Freemasons had an alliance with the Jesuit order. Indeed, the Jesuits are themselves Templars, and therefore part of this Templar continuum that wishes to control everything. Indeed, it's all very interesting to note the history of Western civilization as it really is. Sorry. Indeed, as a schizophrenic ninja, it is interesting for me to observe the comings and goings around Wiltshire of various Faith of Ishmael cartels who are operating in accordance with Vatican directives. So it's all very interesting to consider the overlap of the Vatican with the Faith of Ishmael, and this is in no place more evidenced by the fact that the entity is now run by Turkish military intelligence operatives who are themselves Bektashi Sufis, initiates of Techies, which is the Bektashi equivalent of a Masonic lodge, and of course Sabbateans, who are technically Faith of Ishmael adherents. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, these networks directly interconnect with Nizari Ismaili assassin networks, who coordinate much of the activity of the Muslim Brotherhood. Indeed, as I've stated before, the Muslim Brotherhood, through Swindon connections within their networks, oversee much of the organ harvesting operations within Wiltshire as applied by Vatican directives. Indeed, this all seems to be a Vatican program. Indeed, this is all very interesting to consider. Indeed, the Vatican is run by the Franciscan order, who are themselves these days Masonic, and the Jesuit order, who are themselves these days Masonic. Indeed, the banking for the Vatican is handled by Order of Malta initiates, i.e. Hospitallers, who are themselves Masonic also. It's interesting to consider that the Order of Malta operatives, via their people placed in MI6, run the British psychiatric system. They run all of the psychiatric facilities. Indeed, the Order of Malta also ran percentages of the Roundway experiment. So it's all very interesting to consider how all of these networks are interconnecting. Indeed, the Order of Malta also oversee the Central Intelligence Agency, i.e. the United States' CIA. Therefore, there is huge interconnectivity. Indeed, the Nazi continuum intelligence services are also littered with Order of Malta operatives. Indeed, the original Nazi head honcho of the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst continuum Gehlen organization, Reinhard Gehlen, was an Order of Malta initiate, as were his counterparts in US intelligence, William Wild Bill Donovan and Alan Dulles. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, the Pope is technically the head mafia boss of this cartel, and the current Pope, Robert Prevost, known as Pope Leo XIV, is a pederast and chiefly operative for the Royal Arch Freemasons. Indeed, Robert Prevost most probably is a Royal Arch Freemason. You have to consider that the last Pope, Pope Francis, was a Jesuit. So all of this signifies the absolute triumph of the Templar orders in terms of taking over the Vatican. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, how this relates to the town of Devizes is of great interest to me, because the Pope has personal interest in Devizes and the Devizes police ring not being exposed, because the Vatican profits from the activities and operations of Devizes police. So it's all very interesting to consider how this interconnects. Indeed, there is an Order of Malta operative, Alex Garland, who is himself stationed in Devizes as part of this operation. Indeed, his brother, Morgan Garland, is the chief handler of my targeting for Devizes residents. Indeed, Morgan Garland is an MI6 operative, therefore part of the British Foreign Intelligence Service, and he is also a Royal Arch Freemason of a high degree. Indeed, Morgan Garland coordinates much of the radiation that is fired at me by Devizes residents. Indeed, I believe 7 Devizes residents have devices that are able to fire radiation at me. So the radiation's coming at me from several sources. It's microwave weaponry, radioactive microwave weaponry. This is being fired by networks interconnected with Morgan Garland on the precise directives of a Master Mason of the United Grand Lodge of England, Samuel Buchan, who is technically the overarching handler of my targeting, subcontracting to Morgan Garland of MI6. And all of this interconnects with the operations of the Cecil family, who are handling the Lighthouse network, who wish to give me a lobotomy. And the Cecil family personally handle the British royalty. So it's interesting to consider. Indeed, I met Robert Gascoigne Cecil while I was at Grenville Lodge, where he was using the name Mark Hodge as a code name and cover for his real identity. However, after seeing a picture of Robert Gascoigne Cecil, I was able to identify him as Mark Hodge. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, These networks all interconnect with Crown Templars and the Vatican. So it's interesting to consider how all of this links up. Indeed, it's all really quite disturbing, all of this. As I stated before, the Cecil family are very close to the Pallavicini family, who are an Iranian elite bloodline family and handle much of the entity's operations. Indeed, the Pallavicini are rumored to control the faith of Ishmael. So it's interesting to note what Albert Pike states about the Illuminists coordinating the faith of Ishmael and how they are going to use the faith of Ishmael to cause chaos in Western society. And a lot of this is being done through arrangements between the British police and Faith of Ishmael cartels. What with the British police being Masonic, it is in their interest to align themselves with Faith of Ishmael cartels and set up rape gangs all across the nation. So it's all very interesting to consider. As a mental patient observing this, I'm finding it all very disturbing. And what's more disturbing is the ignorance of the public who hate me for talking about the police in the way I do. Indeed, as I stated, the entire Wiltshire police force, basically all of them, are dirty police, dirty cops. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, my mission is aligned with an anti-Vatican network of Russians. So this does not mean I have any connection to Putin. Indeed, Putin's boys and Putin himself are puppets of the Vatican. So it's all very interesting to note. Indeed, there is an enormous interconnectivity between Putin's personal extraterrestrial contact program, i.e. the International Organization for the Destinies of the World, and the Vatican Observatory, therefore networks of the Society of Jesuits, the Masonic order that runs the Vatican Observatory. So it's all very interesting to consider all of these interlinking appendages and the fact that Putin is a Sabbatean and therefore operative of British Crown ambitions. So it's all very interesting to note. Indeed, I believe I am being staked out by various hitmen of Mossad and the GRU networks connected to Putin. So it's interesting to consider there are people at the moment trying to get a hit on me. They are going to stage an incident whereby I assault a policeman and therefore can be taken into custody, where I can be disposed of. So it's all very interesting. I now have to do my utmost never to be arrested again, because the police are out to get me and are utilizing any network connections they can, including Mossad hitmen and GRU hitmen connected to Putin, who are themselves Sabbateans. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, these Sabbatean networks do seem to want to neutralize me before too much of this channel begins to leak to the public. So it's all very interesting indeed. I'm rather scared at the moment because of my position. However, as a ninja, I'm going to attempt to fight off these hostilities and these techno demons and the implantation of terrible thoughts that is occurring with the gang stalking phenomenon that has been unleashed on me by Morgan Garland, an MI6 operative operating out of devises police headquarters. So it's all very interesting to consider indeed. I'm going to leave it there.